So welcome to this week's Travel Talk show. This week we're heading to the last frontier, the final frontier, Alaska. I'm very happy to be joined today by the Halls that are going to actually take us through this journey, this virtual journey to Alaska, and show us all about this beautiful, beautiful destination that they call home. I am joined with Irene from operations. Her name actually says Marianne Southall because I think she is my local. She is actually Irene. And if you have ever messaged us through the website or called in, you've probably talked to Irene because she's usually the first line there and usually answers those inquiries. So if you had, you can say hi to Irene. Just a little bit of housekeeping. We will keep all of the questions to the end, but if you think of any questions along the way, you are welcome to type them in. If you go to probably the bottom of your screen, sometimes the side, but usually the bottom of your screen, there's a menu bar. On the menu bar, it'll have a button for the chat. If you click on the chat, then you can type questions in there. So that would be a place that we'll look at the end, and if you have any questions, we can read it there, or also you can let us know and we'll open up your microphone and you could actually come on and talk to us in the halls and say hello and ask any questions you might have. And so without further ado, we will get started, and I'll introduce you to Elizabeth and John Hall, and they're going to take us through this presentation and great destination. Welcome. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for showing us Alaska.
Oh, well, perfect. Well, thank you first off for the opportunity to share this and this potential program with your clients and the opportunity to partner in businesses. I originally met your team at one of our industry events, but I'm actually going to turn it over to my father, John Sr., who's going to be running the presentation. He's the founder and the brainchild behind everything that we do here at John Hall's Alaska. So again, I'm Elizabeth Hall. I'm the youngest that we know of John Sr.'s children, as I always tell him. So with that, without further ado, John Sr., I do believe you are unmuted and you should be ready to start the presentation.
I am, and I really apologize that you can't see me. Something is wrong with my camera. It was fine until I went into share screen and then it went blank. So welcome, ladies. Hopefully you're going to learn a little bit more about Alaska. Just a side note, a little housekeeping. Why I'm involved in Alaska and why my children are involved in Alaska. In 1954, we shipped eggs from a little town in Minnesota called Foley, all the way up the Alaskan Highway into Fairbanks. And the reason we did that was there was a friend of my father's who was worked for Piggly Wiggly in Minneapolis. And lo and behold, he got transferred to open up a store in Fairbanks, Alaska. And they kept in touch. And after about 6 months up there, he called my dad and he said, you know, the one thing we can't get up here are fresh eggs. Everything's so, everybody's tired of eating powdered green eggs, as they called them. So my dad got his curiosity up, and this was actually our truck that we went around and picked up eggs from farmers in Minnesota. And then we shipped them another truck up to Fairbanks. And I got to ride with my dad in 1955. We actually followed the egg truck up, and that opened my eyes to the state of Alaska. So I actually started taking my kids up when they were as little as 6 and 8 years old. Now, this is actually me. You can't see me because my camera's not working. My eldest son, John, who is in our marketing department. The middle son, Joseph, who actually handles all of our motor coach operations. And then Elizabeth, youngest, she's actually our chief operating officer of the company. They've all been going to Alaska since they were 6 and 8 years old. They graduated from school working for me in the tour business, and then they went into their own fields of business. And one by one, they missed Alaska so much they all came back. It wasn't an enticement by me; it was their choice, and I'm grateful for it because they're the heart of the operation now. I'm semi-retired, but still going strong. So that's why we're involved with the state of Alaska. Actually, it was the territory of Alaska when I first started going up, and it became a state in several years later, 4 or 5 years later. But we're going to start our journey going into the city of Fairbanks, Alaska. So you will fly from your home city into the great golden north city of Fairbanks. And this is a visual picture of mid to late August, when you can see all the leaves turning gold. And Fairbanks is actually known as the Golden Heart City. That's it's kind of its tagline with you. So you're going to arrive in Fairbanks your first night, and you will be met at the airport with one of our custom motor coaches. And our coaches are very, very special. We have custom made for us. The normal motor coach, 56 people, we seat 42 people. So actually the distance between the front of that seat and the back of the next seat, there's 19 inches of leg room. There's also 110 outlets behind each seat, 2 outlets, so you can charge your camera, charge your cell phones, etc. They're very, very comfortable. We also have, of course, the restroom equipped, and then all of our coaches also have galleys in them. And the galleys contain a Keurig coffee maker, gives you choice of coffee, tea, cider, hot chocolate, and there's one other. So, and then there's also bottled ice water that's refrigerated to just go back and help yourself anytime, just to make your trip a little more comfortable. So that being said, we will transport you from the airport to the through the city and to your first night's hotel. We will have a welcome dinner somewhere in Fairbanks. We haven't yet determined where that's going to be, but it's going to be one of the just a delicious Alaskan dinner. You will overnight the next 2 nights at the Taste of Alaska Lodge, and this is really a special hotel. You will actually have breakfast the next morning at the lodge, and like I said, it's really a special treat to stay there. It's like being in the original settlement of Fairbanks, but it's everything's very modern, if you will. So that morning, we're going to take you out to the riverboat Discovery and take you on a 3.5-hour trip down the journey down the Tanana and Chena rivers. It's a very exciting trip. You'll see float plane or Piper Cubs taking off and landing beside your boat, narrated on how the Alaskans get to their villages, etc. So we'll go up to a true Athabascan village. So there's 5 native cultures in Alaska, and you are going to be pretty much in the Athabascan native heritage. So we'll take you up the river. This is an Athabascan fish wheel. This rotates it with the current. It goes around, it picks up the salmon and drops them in a box. And you'll see the salmon in the background here that are drying, and then they put them in these houses to store them for the winter. We'll get off the boat and spend about an hour and a half inland. You'll see how the Athabascans build their homes, how they make these beautiful parkas out of the skins that they trap. You'll see a reindeer farm and also a dog mushing demonstration. So after that, we're going to take you out to the Museum of the North, which is a fantastic museum all about the interior of Alaska. You will see prehistoric animals. You will see there's a huge nugget that actually came from the Kennecott copper mine. It's a solid copper nugget. It's got to weigh over 1,000 pounds. I mean, it's just huge. So we'll spend time at the Museum of the North, and then we're going to go down and we're going to be entertained for dinner at the Trailbreaker. Excuse me, I'll get out of that. We will be entertained at the Trailbreaker Kennels, and this is the home of the past Iditarod champion Susan Butcher. And Susan had actually won the Iditarod 4 times. And unfortunately, we lost her to lymphomic cancer in about 2006, 2007. But her husband, David, who is actually pictured here beside the river, and the 2 daughters will entertain you. This is actually David and Susan with John Hall's Alaska sign and one of their dogs. So we're going to actually go into the kennels. You're going to have dinner served, and also you'll get a show talking about Susan, about the Iditarod. You'll see her 4 trophies there, and hopefully you'll get a chance to meet David. I'm sure David and one of the daughters will be there for you as well. So you're going to have a great dinner, and not only the dinner, but you're going to have the Iditarod experience and learn about the dog mushing in Alaska. This is Susan's sled that she won her first Iditarod on, and you'll also see the trail in the background there where they run from Anchorage 1,000 miles out to Nome. It's really an incredible evening that you'll have here. Not knowledgeable, but get a chance to meet David and Tekla. And after dinner, we're going to go out in the kennels, and they'll introduce you to the dogs. They'll also have some little puppies there that you can hold and play with. You can't take them home though. Everybody wants to take one home, but you can't actually do that. Then from there, we're going to go back to the hotel. We'll do a tour of the city that I showed you earlier. We'll do a tour of the city, and then we'll overnight back again at the Taste of Alaska Lodge. The next morning, we're going to get up and board the Alaska Gold Star Rail. Now, the Gold Star Rail is that Alaska Railroad pulls all the cars. So there's the Alaska Railroad cars, there's Holland America cars, there's Princess cars, and there's Celebrity cars. But you ladies are going to be in the most deluxe car on the train. That's the first car behind the engine and baggage car. That's called the Gold Star. The upper level is all ultra dome seating. The back 1/3 of it is actually an outdoor vestibule where you can go out and take pictures as you're going from Fairbanks down to Denali National Park. Right down below the lower level is a dining room where you will be having your breakfast. And that's en route. It's about a 4.5-hour trip from Fairbanks to Denali National Park. It is absolutely beautiful. You go over Hurricane Gulch. It's really beautiful, and go through the little couple little villages, Canada, etc., and then you'll end up in Denali National Park. So it's a great morning that you'll have. Again, this is the picture of the interior of the coach that you'll be on. It's ultra dome, as you can see. It's almost 180-degree visibility from your seats. They're all private reserve seats, as you can see. So nobody will get into your seat when you go down for breakfast. Then we'll arrive in Denali National Park about 12:30, and the afternoon is going to be kind of optional what you want to do. So we'll arrive in, like I say, in Denali. Our coach will be there to meet you, and for lunch we're going to take you out to 229 Parks restaurant. Now, 229 Parks restaurant is, in my opinion, and I've eaten at almost every restaurant in the state of Alaska since 1955. And in my opinion, it is probably the #1 restaurant in the state of Alaska. A lot of people don't know about it because it's a small restaurant. It's kind of cut back in the wilderness. And the owner of that restaurant is Chef Laura Cole. Laura Cole has a James Beard culinary graduate. She's also been nominated by the Culinary Institute as the Restaurateur of the Year. What you're going to experience is a true homemade meal experience. They grow all their own vegetables. They get all their fresh fish in daily. Everything is home baked breads and desserts. And she only opens for, we're the only tour company she'll let in because our groups are small. They're not a cruise line product, if you will. So you're going to really, really enjoy the dinner or luncheon at 229 Parks. That afternoon, you're going to have optional activities in Denali National Park. You can choose to go river rafting. You can choose to go ATVing. There's also a zip line that you can do, or a helicopter trip around Denali. So that's your afternoon activities, and you're free to choose whichever you'd like to do. That evening for dinner, we're going to go up to the Grand Denali Lodge, which is actually right up here at the very top. That's the Grand Denali Hotel. So you're going to have dinner up there that evening, and then we'll overnight also at the at that hotel. So that's going to be your home for the next couple nights. So you'll have dinner and overnight. The next morning, you will get up, and we're going to go into Denali. This is the view, by the way, of that from the Grand Denali Lodge. This is all, anything over on, this is the river that divides. Everything over on this side, that's all Denali National Park that you're looking over. And the Alpenglow restaurant is all glass, and it overlooks Denali National Park. So you're going to have a spectacular view up there. Breakfast as well. Then we're going to, this is the view from the restaurant. Then we're going to, after breakfast, we're going to go down, board a bus, and we're going to go into Denali National Park. You will do the Tundra Wilderness Tour. And the Tundra Wilderness Tour normally goes out to mile 62. But as you probably have heard and read, they had a closure right around in here at mile 60, excuse me, at mile 43, right about in here. And that's going to be closed to traffic for at least 2 years, possibly 3 years. So this blue dot that I have here is about how far we can go. It's mile 43. So we'll come in, we'll go visit Teklanika, Sable Pass, in through here. Some good views of Denali from right here, and actually from right here. This is the Alaska Range. Denali sits right down here. So you're actually looking at about probably about 45 to 50 miles away from the south face of Denali. You will also see the north face of Denali as we proceed later in the tour. So this will be your morning and afternoon trip. We'll have lunch, a box lunch that's prepared by the Grand Denali Lodge, and that will take you in for your tour, if you will. We'll have dinner that evening again at the Grand Denali Lodge, and then we will proceed into the park. So we will be on the buses that go in on the Tundra Wilderness Tour. You're going to hopefully see some great wildlife, such as moose, caribou, Dall sheep, and grizzly bears. That's what we call the Big Four in Alaska. So hopefully you are going to be able to experience all of those. So we'll head back to the hotel, to the Grand Denali Lodge, overnight, have dinner, and the next morning we are up and over to the Alaska Railroad Gold Star again. And we're going to take that down to the little village of Talkeetna. Talkeetna is really a quaint little town. If you remember and ever watched, there was a television series that was actually filmed there, and I can't think of the name of it right now, but it was with Dr. Greer, and it was really about, it's really one of the old villages of Alaska. So you'll be able to experience Nageley's store. They have actually a brewing company there that you can have some fresh brewed beer, etc. And then from there, we're going to go down to the Kenai River Lodge in the Kenai Valley. And this is a real treat because you're going to overnight in these unique little cabins that they have here. And we'll have dinner in the main lodge, Kenai River Lodge, and we'll overnight then in the cabins, if you will. The next morning, we're going to head out to one of the greatest experiences. That's Mahay's jet boat, and that'll go back out at Talkeetna. We'll board the private jet boat, and we're going to go up. It's about a 6.5 hour tour. It's called the Devil's Canyon Tour. You're going to get you were over on the south side of Denali. Now you're on the north side of Denali. And we'll be watching that as we go up the river. There we go, some great views of Denali. I did this a few years ago, and it was one of the most spectacular trips that I'd done in Alaska. It's really a great experience. Great views of Denali, so make sure you got some good pictures of the north face and the south face. So you'll have actually you're going to see about four different sides of Denali on the way. So we'll have lunch on the boat that's catered for us, and then we'll head back the next day, or that evening. We'll head back into Anchorage, and we'll overnight at the Captain Cook Hotel in Anchorage. And this is kind of a landmark of Anchorage. It was built by Wally Hickel, who became the governor a couple of times. Wally was also President Nixon's Secretary of Interior. Now his son actually operates the hotel, so it's kind of a landmark, if you will. So we'll overnight at the hotel. The next morning after breakfast, we're going to head down the Kenai Peninsula to Seward. We're going to visit the Seward Sea Life Center, if you will, and we'll have that evening we'll have a private dinner catered in the Sea Life Center itself. We'll overnight that evening at the Gateway Hotel, which is only about 2 years old. It overlooks the Resurrection Bay, a beautiful view, and the harbor, etc. The next morning we'll have breakfast, and then you're out for another adventurous day. You're going to board the Kenai Fjords boat, and we're going to go out in Kenai Fjords National Park. You're going to see about 2 or 3 different glaciers out here. That will give you some beautiful views of hopefully some calving glaciers, and from there we'll have lunch actually on the boat, because it's about a 6-hour tour, and then we'll get off of the boat, and then we're going to get on our motor coach, and we're going to go to the other side of the Kenai Peninsula, and that's where Homer is. Now, while you're on the boat, you're going to see amazing marine life. You'll see humpback whales, hopefully some orca whales, sea otters, sea lions, harbor seals, eagles, and puffins. So you're going to have that 6 hours that you're going to be on on Kenai Fjords. You're going to really have some enjoyable marine life viewing. Then we're going to head, like I say, over to the other side of the Kenai Peninsula. We'll go down the Sterling Highway and through Nanilchek, which is a unique Russian village. You'll pass a Russian graveyard. You'll see spirit houses. We'll come down through Anchor Point and into Homer. And Homer is what they call the end of the road. Maybe you've heard Tom Bodette talk about it. He actually has his studio in Homer. So we'll overnight in Homer at the Aspen Hotel. And the next morning we'll have breakfast. It'll be catered there. And then we're going to take you, this is, by the way, this is the picture of the rooms at the Aspen. And then from there, we're going to take you to a really unique winery. This is called the Bear Creek Winery. You're going to have exclusive tasting experience and tours of the winery. It's really something that's really a wonderful experience. So we'll have dinner in Homer and overnight again at the Aspen Suites. The next morning, we're going to head out towards Anchorage, but we'll make a stop at the Peony Farm. And this is a really a unique experience. We're going to have a private exclusive tour of the farm and see how they grow all these magnificent bulbs and flowers. And we'll have lunch, and then we'll head into the Captain Cook Hotel in Anchorage. We'll have dinner at the hotel, and then the next morning you will fly out of Anchorage to Ted Stevens International Airport, and for your return flight home. So this is going to be just an incredible a 10-day program for you from August 3rd through August 13th. It is a incredibly designed tour to give you all of the aspects of Alaska. If you haven't been there before, you're going to see things that even some of the residents don't see in Alaska. Your day in Denali is very special with your helicopter skiing or rafting, and the Mahays jet boat service is really spectacular. And you should be able to get views of at least probably pretty close to 3 sides of Denali. Just hopefully that it's going to be clear. But you're going to be there for, in view, you're going to be there actually 5 days with viewing. So you're going to get some good viewing. So I can love to open this up for any questions, or if you had any, I believe there's a chat room that was open, and I don't know, Elizabeth, are you monitoring the chat room? Or?
I am, yes. And I want to add before I turn it back over, to the group that's actually handling this and make sure that Marianne has a chance to answer questions on her own and take it from here. I just want to thank the Women's Travel Club, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. I always say group in the back of my mind, for giving us the opportunity to host this. And it's been really exciting to design a program specifically that's tailored to women traveling together and enjoying Alaska. We've also been able to get really creative on where we want to go, what we want to do, how we want the group to travel together. And one of the most exciting things for me, as you noticed in some of these pictures, we do have custom John Hall's Alaska jackets. Normally they're blue and gold, but the one-off that we're doing on this one is we're doing some custom pink jackets that are just for your group. We've never done before. We've never had a chance to do before. So I'm really excited about this, and I think it's going to be a phenomenal program, and I appreciate the ability to allow us to explore this on behalf of the organization. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and turn it back over to you if you would like, Marianne.
Thank you. And thank you, Elizabeth, and thank you, John. The itinerary is amazing. You've put together such a perfect itinerary for us. And it really, I can't imagine, it's not missing anything. It really is exceptional and gives us such a good overview of such a beautiful destination. Oh, the views are crazy. And the pink jackets are like, that's just perfect. Thank you. So we'll open it up to any questions anyone might have. So again, the dates for this tour are August 3rd to the 13th. I did put the link in the chat. So if you want to go to our website and see all the details, the itinerary is actually written out there for you. Just click on the link and you can get to the itinerary on our website. We are a little over half full right now. So just so you know that we are filling up, and if you're interested, you might want to consider getting on that and getting it booked, because it will fill up. And we do have one, not seeing the link. It should be right above you. I'll put it in again, just in case maybe it disappeared in there a bit. Should be going to everyone. Rosenberg, do you see it now? Just let me know, give me a little thumbs up or smiley face if you do see it. Yeah. Oh, yeah, she sees it. Perfect. And someone did suggest that the TV show would be Northern Exposure. Is that right? Excellent. Good job, Leslie. Any questions? Anybody have any questions with there?
Actually, I do. The Peony Farm, Marianne, is that typical? I mean, are they then sent to other parts of the country? Is it? I'm curious as to why there's a Peony Farm.
Do you want me to jump in on that?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of a unique find. You don't expect when you come to Alaska to find such a diverse agriculture background, but of course with our state fair, which is phenomenal, we have it in August, excuse me. One of the big things is the flowers and the plants that we grow up here because of the amount of daylight that we get in the summer. So as we started to explore this option, something that we found as local residents, and when we go to farmers markets, is the flowers tends to be something that most people go to the farmers markets for as locals. When we started designing this itinerary, I was working with the team and found out I knew that we had a big peony experience here, but then when I was down in Homer last year, which is where a little bit of this transition took place, they actually have a Peony Festival because they have so much open space, such rich ground, such diverse daylight and hours. They also get a substantial amount of rain down there. So it's not something that's really that a lot of people get to take advantage of and they're not aware of until they get up here. And that was something really special that we wanted to incorporate in and to be able to see that. And when I say a peony farm, I mean, it's acres of peonies, and you're here right at that end of that blossoming period. So it's bound to be beautiful. Most of those are kept local. Like I said, they go to local farmers markets and things like that. we take pride in what we do here in Alaska and keeping it here.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. I see somebody else has also mentioned that North Dakota has crazy cold weather and they do grow a lot of peonies there as well. Thank you.
Any other questions? No.
Well, and if you don't mind if I step in with just one question that I commonly get asked.
Sure, yes.
Regarding the John Halls Alaska protocols, as far as how COVID goes, and with everything going on, it seems to be the elephant in the room and what our rules are at this point. So one of the things that we've taken pride in from the beginning is that we, as an industry, did not feel like, or as an organization, it's not my place. I don't have children, I have dogs, and that's enough to keep track of, to tell someone what they have to do in order to travel. So we've really left it up to the travelers, with the exception of federal and state regulations. So at this point, and looking at your itinerary, we do not have any restrictions as far as having to be vaccinated. If that's something that you want to be put in place, or if you have international travel borders.
Actually, I'm just going to interrupt. The Women's Travel Club does require
Okay,
vaccination.
perfect.
Yes,
So
just because we do travel a small group and we're all together for so much, it just gives everybody peace of mind to know that everybody is vaccinated. And then also when we're just together, even places like if we're on a bus together traveling, we don't have to wear masks and such. So it just takes a little bit of that out of the equation, and everybody then knows that it's kind of a safe thing for everybody.
No, that's great, and that's super helpful. And to add to that, just so you're aware as well, our entire team is vaccinated. That's something that we implemented way back in the start of this. So anyone that you're traveling with or come in contact with our organization is fully vaccinated. And then, of course, you already touched on the mask piece of it. That's another component where, unless there's a federal or a state regulation, we actually don't require masks anymore on board our vessel or on board our motor coaches. We just changed that policy as we start to come out of this next wave. Of course, everything can change, but that's really our policy, is to make you as comfortable as possible. We've all lived through this for 2 years, and we want to make sure that you feel safe, and you know that we're doing what we need to do on the backside for cleaning our motor coaches, taking care of our team, to make sure that you and all of your clients are feeling comfortable as well.
I'm hoping by August we've seen the end of this and we're moving on to wonderful travels again and not worrying about COVID. But yes, it is good to know kind of what to expect and what's in place. And it is because Alaska is in the US, so right now anybody coming from Canada would need an antigen test flying in. But again, those regulations are changing so quickly now that I'm unless something else comes up by August, I think we will not have to worry about that.
Correct. Yep. Perfect. Well, I wanted to touch on that just because I knew we hadn't talked about it. And again, I didn't know what your rules were, but you also know where we stand, so you're comfortable with it. So
perfect. Okay, excellent. If no other questions are
hello.
Then I think we'll thank everybody for joining us. Thank you for taking time from your day to come and learn a bit about Alaska and what there is and the beautiful sights and a bit about our tour. And thank you very much, Elizabeth and John, for taking time from your day and showing us around. I can't wait till we're actually there in person. Thank you.
My pleasure. And again, I apologize for my camera not working. I'm not sure why my video is not. I can't get that red line across it out of it.
No, it's okay.
Hello, can you hear me? My name is Shelby. Can you folks hear me?
Yes. Hi, Shelby.
Oh, hi. Okay, my Zoom internet was not working this morning, so I'm just joining you via a video call. So I have been listening to all of your conversation. Thank you very much. I do have a question regarding airline arrangements. When is it too soon for us to start making flight reservations for those of us who have booked I noticed we've been looking at schedules. My sister is traveling with me from Wisconsin. I live in Phoenix, Arizona. So we've been looking at flight schedules, and they're the most desirable ones are probably going to book up sooner than later, but I'm just cautious about booking them and then having difficulty getting any kind of credit for them should this trip not go for some reason. So what would you advise us about the flights?
Yeah,
and
so
reservations?
it's definitely a good time to be looking at flights. So if you're seeing something good, then yes, look at it. Just all throughout the COVID time, we've told people to try and book a flexible fare or a refundable fare if you can find it and if it's reasonable. And definitely make sure you have travel insurance in effect when you're buying your flights if they're not fully refundable, just as a precaution. But it would be a good time to kind of start looking at flights now, I think.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm
we
gonna
have
just
Patricia.
interject on that a little bit, if you don't mind. This is John Senior again. With the price of fuel going up, airlines are we're seeing increases daily. The quicker you can book it, I would do it.
Yeah, I think so too.
Okay, all
And
right,
if
that sounds like good advice.
anybody, oh, sorry. Oh,
That's
sorry.
Shelby, Marianne. Shelby's
Yeah.
on the tour.
Shelby, did you,
Yeah,
sorry, I interrupted a bit and I think you were speaking.
Yeah, okay, so because of flight arrangements, we are planning to arrive actually on August the 2nd and spend an extra night before the start of the trip. So we just wanted to make sure that you would be providing transportation from the airport to the hotel, and we're going to want to stay at the same hotel that we are joining the group on the 3rd. So I just want to make sure that that shuttle is going to be available for an extra day. I believe it will be, but I would like that confirmation.
Okay, Elizabeth, can you speak? I know you were looking at, we've been just kind of going back and forth about the pre-night accommodations. So I think Elizabeth can fill us in a bit.
Yeah, we're happy to do that. The one thing that we do request is that when you make your reservations, in order for us to meet all guests, this is a John Hall guest or our charter clients, partner clients, we do request full flight information. So that includes record locators. And what that allows us to do is to track you in the event that you're not coming in with the group and we're at the airport to meet you, especially a day early. So regardless of when you arrive, we will be there to meet you. We'll be there on the backside to take you to the airport. We just ask that you make sure to pass that information along to Marianne and her team. Now, also that being said, one of the things that we've been talking about is the early arrivals. The hotel that you're scheduled to stay at is called the Taste of Alaska Lodge, and it's about 25 minutes outside of Fairbanks, and it's a small little B&B that's good. When you're there, it's exclusively just for you. So what we've planned to do is provide a hotel option that is closer to the airport, which will pick you up, take you to that hotel. And then the following day, as the group arrives, we will pick you up again with the motor coach, take you to meet the group that's flying in, and then everyone will transition to that hotel together. Part of that being a little bit closer to Fairbanks allows you to have access to restaurants and activities and things like that that are going on, rather than being 25 minutes outside of town.
Very good.
Okay, so who would I coordinate that through at the Women's Travel Club? Who do I speak to do that?
You can just let us know. So if anybody on the team, if you let us know that you want that pre-night, we will add it to your booking. So if you just want to call in on our toll-free number, then Irene will get the message. I'll put the phone number in there, or you can just email it in. We will be sending out a form for anybody that wants any extras and pre-nights and such. But if you know ahead of time before you get that form that you want it, you can let us know and we will definitely get it in there. Oh, the name of the Denali Hotel. Elizabeth, what is, I forget the name.
Yes, it's the Denali Bluffs that you're going to be staying at.
Denali Bluff, the first night, or
Actually,
pre-night, I should say.
I'm just going to double check that. Hold on one second.
Oh, okay.
I know we had some back and forth on that one. Now, I'm sorry, the Grand Denali, they're sister properties. So one is up on top of the mountain and one is a little bit farther down on the side of the mountain. It's the one on the top that you're going to be at. Denali Grand Denali or Denali Grand. Either one is, you'll find it if you are looking on Google.
Okay. And I have one more question. I did receive notice that a second automatic payment was going to be taken on my credit card as towards the payment of the trip. Will there be additional automatic payments taken or just a total due? I think it was April 23rd, the total was due.
Right, so yes, just the final payment will be due on April 15th.
So April 15th, okay. And
Yeah.
do you automatically charge my card for that?
Well, you'll get a notice about a week ahead of time, again, saying that the payment is set to go. And then at that point, if you need to change your payment method, you can. There will be a link to a secure form that you can change your payment method if you need to. And if not, then we will just use the card that is on file.
Okay, that sounds good. So that next payment is April, there won't be one for March, is that correct?
Correct. So all, like if you just did a payment, then all, like the two payments are done. So the initial deposit and the first kind of payment are both done. So now there's only one last final payment due, and that's April 15th.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much. We're so excited about this trip.
Oh, good. Yeah, it's an amazing trip. We're so excited too.
Marianne, this is Marianne Angelo.
Hi.
Hi. I do have a question. I don't believe that I was charged for the January payment. I know it didn't hit January or February statement. So I'm wondering why.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. You know what? The best to message Debbie in the tour department. I'm gonna put her email just in the
Okay.
chat.
Okay.
Because she does all the payments, so she can check on that for you.
Okay. Thank you. And then another question I have is what do you recommend as far as dress? Like how cold will it be? That kind of stuff.
Oh, Elizabeth, can you?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes, I'd love to touch on that. So in August, I always tell people to plan for a variety of weather. Now, I apologize because I speak in Fahrenheit and I know that some people speak in Celsius, but I am going to speak in Fahrenheit on this one. I just got back from South Africa and they would tell me the degrees and the currency, and I had no idea what they were talking about. So up here, in August, we do anticipate some rain, of course. There's some areas that, especially down in Seward and Homer, that you have a higher likelihood of getting rain. I tell people to plan for anywhere from, and don't freak out when I say this, I tell people to plan from 50 degrees up to 75 degrees. And on that lower side of it, you tend to get those temperatures, maybe even a little bit lower, when you're in by the glaciers, when you're out on the water, when you're doing those wildlife sightseeing cruises. That's when you're going to get those colder temperatures. So it's usually for the course of a couple hours or days or things like that. So make sure to bring a light hat, a light pair of gloves. The jacket that we're going to provide to you is going to be water resistant. It's not waterproof, but it's water resistant and holds up in the majority of the weather up here. And then as far as dress, I always recommend that, especially ladies, it's easy to say, bring a pair of capris, if not two pairs of capris, because that tends to be pretty flexible as far as the temperature. Plan to dress in light layers. Sweatshirts, zip up sweaters, things like that are great to have a couple of those along. And then planning to take those off as the day goes on, because it does warm up rather quickly as you get to the 2-3 o'clock hour. Evenings can be cool and chilly as well, but that's There will be an opportunity as you go along to also do laundry, so you don't have to worry about packing for the entire duration of the trip. John Senior, did I miss anything that you would add to that?
No, I think you've covered it. Just the emphasis on when they're out on Kenai Fjords tour, that when you're up by the glaciers, it can be 20 to 30 degrees cooler than it is out in the sun, because you're surrounded by ice and the water is very cold from the calving glaciers. So maybe 20 degrees difference in temperature. But definitely have some nice gloves.
Okay, thanks very much.
Excellent. Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you to everybody that took time to come this afternoon and listen to the presentation. And very big thank you to John and Elizabeth for joining us. I hope everyone has a great day. We'll end it here, but if you do have any questions about this tour, please just message us. We'll have no problem answering it. If we don't know the answer, we know where to go to find it. And we will also record this presentation and send you a copy of it. So if you wanted to look back on anything, or if there's anything you thought you missed, or if you want to share it with anyone, you will have the presentation to do that. So thank you so much, and everybody have a great day.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.